It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are back. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Did we go anywhere though? Like, what are we back from?
I don't know. Back like we never left.
I have to repost our show real quick, so you just do whatever it is you're going to do. All right. So, Raj.
Yes.
I was going to say, are we starting with no comments? There we go.
We got
Roll Tide. What's up? How are you doing tonight, Kat? Hard to be here. Oh, Chris Hayes. That's a Georgia fan, Raj, but he is a guy's really good at breaking down plays. So something that at least I'm terrible at. So he always has some good knowledge and good interaction. So that's somebody people should check out on Twitter. So that's a good one. So, and of course, definitely hit the like button. Where are we at? 124 on the slow walk to 200. So
I thought we were at 127 the last time I checked, but we will definitely get to 200 very, very soon. We're climbing.
And if not for us, do it for the babies.
Yes. Do it for the
newest pro. Yes. So
yes.
Good evening to Lady Alpha.
Evening, Lady Alpha. Brian Henderson. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, shout out from way back. Yes, sir. Yep.
That's from our Germany days, patch days.
Yes, sir.
James Carpenter. I don't know who James Curtis Carpenter is, but hey, man, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you, James Curtis Carpenter. I hope I pronounced his name right.
And yes, Kat, the babies, the real stars of the show. All right, so we got a lot we want to talk about tonight. Definitely want to talk about the Alabama players in the draft. We're going to have a little more focus tonight on kind of Alabama in the draft because next week we actually have an NFL show with Sarah and Football Talk with Bo on here. So they'll cover more of the general. So that's why we're a little more specific. I do want to talk about some the basketball transfer portal and the team coming together to see better than the football one.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
It did.
But
it did.
If you see Raj's hashtag down there, for 2 weeks in a row, we want to let him start off and let him vent his frustrations. So, Raj, the Ragsdale Minute, the Lakers Minute.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate it.
Now, I like how the number kept going. When the series started, you said Lakers in 6. It quickly turned into Lakers in 7.
Yes.
Now we're Lakers in 8.
Now it's Lakers in 8, baby. Last night didn't happen. Lakers in 8. I guess in all seriousness, I watched every single game of the Nuggets-Lakers series, of course, hoping for a big win by the Lakers. For anybody who actually watched the series, I really felt like the Lakers should have been up 3-1 at one point. They should have won games 2, 4, and 5, especially game 2. That was the game that they had the 20-point lead in.
Did they have a 30-point lead at some point?
No, but they squandered that lead in game 2, let it go. Game 1 and 3, they just did not look like they wanted to play. I could see it. We lost those games, but games 4 and 5, we were in those games. We played really, really good basketball. Last night was heartbreaking. Of course, we got hit with another Jamal Murray dagger. LeBron played well. He carried the team throughout the second half. Speaking of the second half, yes, AD got hurt if you did not watch the game. It looked like, and I never got the actual diagnosis of what happened, but it looked like, and even JB, shout out to JB, comment on this, it looked like maybe a stinger because he was barely hit on his shoulder.
Or maybe his pride was hurt.
Fell down. Yeah, he fell down like he got shot in the back or something. Very funny. So I don't know what happened, but basically after that injury, he had 16 points prior to the injury. After the injury, he only ended up with like 17, 18 points. He was down. He only had one arm. I even made a comment on Twitter. I said, why don't we just put in Jackson Hayes? I mean, Jackson Hayes is going to be doing a lot more than what Anthony Davis is doing.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm proud with the fight that the Lakers put in. I'm glad we didn't get swept. But ultimately, I still think that was a series we could have won. There were a couple of games in there where we played really, really good basketball, and we could have won the series. I guess the next question now is, I'm sorry, you go ahead and ask the question. What do you, if you have any questions?
No, you're on a roll. Go with it. Go. I like it. Go ahead.
I guess if you're a Lakers fan or LeBron fan, whatever the case may be, the next question is, what do you do in the offseason? I know there were some rumors swirling and people asking LeBron, are you going to retire, blah, blah, blah. I don't think he's going to retire. He's got to take some time off, then start prepping for the Olympics in Paris. And then obviously after that, he's going to take some time off and then start prepping for the next season. He averaged 26, 27 this past season. He ended up with 30, 10, and 9 last night, or 30, 11, and 9. So when you're putting up those numbers in the playoffs, I don't see why he would retire. He's already probably commented that he wants to play with his son.
Did you think that is dead yet, or is that still going?
What do you mean?
Oh, and by the way, Randy, they lost one game, so they lost.
So the past 12 games, the Nuggets are 11-1 against the Lakers.
Yeah, so it was getting close.
Yeah.
The Lakers had to pull out.
It was like a 10-game win streak. Yeah, it was like a 10 or 11-game win streak. Then the Lakers won one. What do you said? Do I think something's dead?
That dream is dead of them playing together.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I think that LeBron still has 3 more solid years left in him. Bronny, I don't know what Bronny's going to do. I think it's okay for him to test the NBA waters. But again, me personally, and I've told you this several times, I don't think he's ready to jump into the league yet. I think give it 1 or 2 years in college, and then come on out. He'll be a nice little point guard after that. But yeah, I think the dream is still there because he said he wants to play with his son. It'll be an interesting option to see where his son gets drafted. That's the whole case here. We don't know when Bronny's going to get drafted or where he's going to get drafted to, and then is LeBron going to want to just go wherever he gets drafted to? That's just a hard decision.
Right.
So,
and what team is one to take both of them and still try to win the title? That's the thing.
Exactly. Because you take both of them. I mean, Ron's going to be your head coach, and he's going to want Bronny to play regardless of how everybody else on the team feels, and that's just the scenario that it's going to create. So. The dream's still alive. It's going to happen eventually. But like I mentioned, Lakers season's over. It sucks. One other thing I want to touch on. I know that a lot of people are coming out and saying that fire Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham's got to go. I was very, very critical of Darvin Ham throughout the regular season. In the playoffs, he made a lot of questionable calls, or sometimes there's some calls he didn't make. There were several times, especially last night, the Nuggets went on a 12-0 run. He did not call a timeout. And you could tell that the Lakers were gassed. They were tired. They needed a rest. He didn't call a timeout. They scored again. Then eventually, I don't know if we went to a TV time or whatever the case may be, but we went to a commercial break. But I'm going to say this. If you fire Darvin Ham, you're not solving the problem. You're firing him so he can take the blame for anything that transpired throughout the season and the postseason. You're not going to solve the problem.
What is the problem?
I think
okay.
I think that the Lakers need a third star, a younger star. AD's 31, LeBron's 39, but AD, let's just be honest, AD in basketball years is like 45. They need a younger guy that can kind of give them a good spark. They have some younger role players, but they need a guy early to mid-20s that can kind of give them 20, 25 whenever LeBron and AD aren't.
Are you sacrificing D'Lo and
Well, D'Lo declined his player option, so he's pretty much out the door, right? That's basically what he said. I like D'Lo.
By the way, to this one, he entered the draft pool, but like this is the funny thing with NIL. They're like he hasn't hired an agent, but he has an agent because they all have agents now. So he can still come back to college if you want. He also entered the transfer portal. So yeah, he declared and entered the transfer portal. But you have until like the 29th of this month to pull your name back out. Which is very important because we will be talking about Mark Sears.
James, that's a good point Herb made. So you can enter the draft, but as long as and he does have an agent, but he's still going to maintain his college eligibility, so he can go to pre-draft workouts. He can talk to NBA scouts, so they can tell him what he needs to work on. And then by May 29th or May 30th, you have to rescind your name out of the draft pool if you want to come back to college. So I think that's what
taught you rescind. Who taught you?
Oh
that?
man, I've been reading the heck out of the dictionary lately.
You just sit there and open the dictionary and just flip through pages?
Yeah, yeah. So I think Brown will go to some workouts and then just come back to college for another 1 or 2 years. So
it's interesting because you make that distinction now. It used to be you just entered the draft and didn't hire an agent, but like I said, now you all have agents. I don't even know. Basically, you enter the draft and you have until the 29th to come back out, and that's basically it. I never fault a player like Sears for doing that because you get to go to extra camp and you get some evaluation. So
exactly.
I like it, so I got no problem with it. So Lakers. So I was listening to Nick Wright earlier, and he was talking about your Lakers. And so, who do you think of the top 4 players on the Lakers this past year were?
The top 4, I would say LeBron, AD. It's funny that you say top 4 because after those two, it's like D'Lo had a good stretch. Second half of the season, he had a really, really good stretch, excellent ball play. first round with the Nuggets, there were like 2 games he was absent, and then there were 2 or 3 games he was actually there. So I would say you might have to just go with D'Lo and then Austin Reeves. Rui Hachimura was,
and that's where he was. And so here, the point of it, who do you think missed the most games out of them?
Out of the Lakers?
Yeah, who do you think missed the most games this year out of those 4 that you just mentioned?
I think probably AD, right? I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me.
LeBron only played 71 games. AD played 76. D'Lo played 76. Wait, so LeBron only missed
11 games?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right, cool.
And Austin Reeves played all 82. His point he was making was the top 4 players for the Lakers had uncommon health for the whole year, and you still up in the 7 seed. If you run this team back, you're not getting that healthy for a whole nother year. So then
that was one of my concerns too, is that this is one of those seeds, and this is something you and I have talked about several times. It's like a good, healthy Lakers team could make it far, but is it going to happen 2 years in a row? Based on what we've seen in years past, it's not going to happen. Somebody's going to get injured next year. And again, to your point, had you had with us having a full team this past season, we should have been much higher than a 7th seed. There's a couple of those regular season games. Had we won, we could have been up there. We wouldn't even have to do the play-in mess, and we would have been a 4th, 5th, or 6th seed. So I don't know. Yeah, if they run it back next year again with D'Angelo Russell declining his player option, I know what David's typing.
there you go, David. All right, you get your
Let's give David some spotlight. David, we appreciate you jumping on. David is really, really good at talking negative about LeBron, and I'm not sure if he knows anything else other than that. But we appreciate you, David. One thing is, people talk negatively about LeBron all the time, but they watch him all the time, and they pay attention to him all the time, which is a funny thing.
Yeah. So somewhere in the middle of all this, Raj, we're going to have a basketball special that we do another night, so we can kind of cover the rest of this, because there's a lot been going on out there. So I did want to give you your spotlight, though. We're gonna
I appreciate that.
shift gears, but stay, I guess, with basketball. I never thought that the transfer portal would be more for basketball than football, and crazy movement. And I guess one of our bigger news, I never thought I'd get excited. Grant Nelson is coming back. Like, what was your reaction when that happened?
I was definitely excited. He was a good big man, big stretch 4, stretch 5, whatever you want to call it. I think he needs to work on his 3-point shooting a little bit, but if he can stay active down low and be aggressive in the paint, I think he'll definitely help us out next year as far as a deep run in March Madness. So I was definitely excited with him. Definitely excited he's coming back.
Yeah, I hate being like negative. I never thought he was going to get drafted high, like going out right now. Right. I didn't think his year said that. And we talk about the how he was in the tournament, but we all really kind of remember what the North Carolina game and not a whole lot else. And then the dunk. But
and then the dunk on Klingon,
yeah. But other than that, like I didn't, I just feel like coming back was in his best interest, or even not even come back, but just going back to college, no matter what he decided to do.
I agree. I kind of feel like had he gone to the NBA, maybe he shouldn't even came to Alabama. He would have had a better chance getting drafted before he came to Alabama, because his name was so big then. He had a good season with Alabama, but I definitely think him coming back will definitely increase his draft stock. So it was a smart decision on his behalf.
Yep. So then the what everyone's waiting for, what's going to happen with Sears?
I think Sears is going to come back. This is my personal opinion. I think he's doing the same thing that Bronny's doing, which there's nothing wrong with that. He's testing the waters. He just wants to see what the scouts say. If I had to guess, I would say Sears gets drafted late 1st round, maybe even falls to early 2nd. You come back one more year, you stay healthy, you prove how good of a player you are, you make all SEC, all America, all the other stuff, you're a certified 1st round pick. I'm thinking Sears is coming back. He has nothing to lose. You got NIL money. You'll be good for another year.
And I'm just picking a random one. Bleacher Report, their mock. They don't have him in the 1st round. I think last time we did this, I picked 4, and there was like 2 of them late 1st round, 1 second, and I think this must be about Grant Nelson. I think about transfer. Yeah. The way he worded it when he was gone, when he first entered, was like, "Let me talk to my agent and see what we want to do." So it's kind of like we had a lot of options. Is what it did. So. For Sears, he's not gone yet. So he's entered his name, but he had, like I said, have until the 29th to come back.
Yeah.
I feel like with what you said, I feel like he comes back. Because like you said, NIL money and just not I don't see a mock that has him like before 26 or 27.
That's the thing. Like even though they're mocks, if you look at enough of these mock drafts, and if you see your name around the same vicinity or around the same range, late first round, you got to kind of tell yourself, like, look, that's a stretch at that. I mean, that's if I make it to the first round. So
so
come back
at 25 to 30. There's almost a better chance of you sliding into the second round than there is jumping up all of a sudden, especially when you start getting some of the international players involved and stuff like that. So I feel like he comes back, has a better season. We try to comp him to Jalen Brunson, but I feel like Brunson is way more crafty around the basket and Sears is way more outside. So I think maybe mid-range and stuff like that is something else to kind of work on. But I feel like this style will let him start next year. So
I agree.
If I'm Sears, I come back. So
and regardless of who we're bringing in, if you're Sears, you're starting point guard. That's off the top.
Yeah.
So
and starting is just kind of weird anyway with this team because you're gonna get plenty of minutes. So it's not always the thing to me. So and you see that where Jared Stevenson, he also declared. Most people expect him to come back, but
if you're him, you got to come back. I mean, I haven't seen his name in any mock drafts. He's got the size. He's a good 3-point shooter, but he only averaged like 5 points a game. Didn't get too much playing time. Dude, just come on back. And again, you want to test the waters just to see what's up. There's nothing wrong with that. But
roll tide.
I'd hate to see him make the decision of staying in the draft. Then he goes undrafted, and then we don't
especially
really
when you have time left. Time. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He's only like I want to say Jared Stevenson's 19, so come on back for 1 or 2 more years and join the team, or if you want to he can't transfer now, right? Today's the last day, right?
Yes, today's the last. I mean, I guess is another transfer portal open right before the season, or is this it for spring and then it's
I don't know. It's so hard to keep up with all this madness. I don't know.
Yes, we definitely need some sponsorship.
Yes, we do, David. This is one thing I actually agree with David on. Yes.
Yeah.
If the guy he knows is named LeBum, then we don't want it.
Wait, hold on. If the guy you know is named LeBum, yes, we still will take his sponsorship, and I will wear a shirt that says LeBum on it.
I am not wearing a shirt.
And Kat, nobody knows because it's crazy stuff. And speak of him, and here he pops up. Like I said, Raj, this
Chris Hayes.
Yes. First off, just a good guy. Just
Chris
interactions have been good, but the way he breaks down the play. We have tried to retweet a lot of us when he pops up. But no, good guy and great baby. You can tell he's got a good mind for the game. So
yes, Chris, thank you so much for joining on. We appreciate you, man.
I mean, I'm down. How much money is involved with it? All the money will go to me. Raj won't take any LeBron special show.
Oh no, I'm gonna get my cut.
Oh yeah, Randy's the godfather.
We always appreciate Randy.
So,
yes.
Yep, definitely. Appreciate it. Oh. When he says you guys, though, he really just means me, Raj. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that. Thanks, Chris.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. I gotta put him some more work on Twitter, man. That's fine.
No, he's good people though in the chat. Good people in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
So as far as the rest of the team, where's my tab that I had up? So Grant Nelson coming back, Wrightsville coming back. That was a big one for us too as well.
Yeah.
I feel like somehow he went from like properly rated to really underrated. I think because of maybe a couple injuries and stuff like that.
Yep.
But he was a huge part of the team. So,
yep. Oh yeah.
Diabate coming back, yep. And then we did lose a couple. What do you think about Griffin finally like picking Kansas?
I don't know if that was a money grab type of thing or not. I don't know if he's going to fit well with Kansas. I didn't
Kansas
like him.
Needed an influx of everything though, so I can see why they went after him. So
yeah. I just felt like he was a good fit with us, and he played well in our system. And I didn't understand why he was leaving. Maybe he wanted even more playing time. I don't know. I want to say he started a few games with us, but I didn't get it. I really
I feel like money definitely played a big part, but it's like I don't say that in a negative, like, oh, that's bad. I mean, it's Kansas, so it still is.
Yeah.
one of the top teams out there, one of the top destinations. So I get why you would go.
Yeah.
What do you think? Did you read his comments where I think the team is going to be better without me than with me?
Yeah, I didn't understand that. He was like, they can win a natty, or they'll be better without me than with me. I'm like, what? Yeah. I guess he's trying to justify his leaving or something like that. I'm like, don't. Well,
maybe that
don't
goes along with what Kat's saying. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, on Raj, yes, Rogers was on the 20th. So
yes, my birthday was on April the 20th. Chris, thank you so much. It was 2 Saturdays ago? Time flies, man. So
yes.
2 Saturdays ago, had a good time. Herb and his wife were out here. We all went out on a nice double date. Had some good food. Had a few drinks. Had a good time.
I can tell I'm getting old because at 9:30, one of us was like, "Hey, where else are we going?" And I was like, "Home."
All of us were like, "Yeah." Yeah, we went out to eat. Dinner was at 7:30. We finished about 9:20, 9:30. We went to one little spot afterwards, but man, we were just
dragging.
We were getting old. Mm-hmm. Oh, Chris is an April birthday too.
Dragging
Chris,
like your breath.
Yeah, happy birthday, Chris. Turn the big 5.
Yes,
wow.
Sir.
Okay.
Getting some happy birthdays. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I missed this one too. Yeah, Freitzel stays. Yeah, agreed. Yeah. I think that's why he kind of became a little underrated. I think at the end of the season was just a couple banged up. So he was on the 8th. So he's 8th. Randy was the 14th, and then you were the 20th.
And James, I hope James is watching. James Carpenter's birthday is on April the 3rd. We know that, James.
Yes. That's a little you guys didn't celebrate it until like the 17th. But yeah, I was on the 3rd.
Listen, we got it mixed up.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So regarding Alabama basketball, what do you think about us getting LeBaron? I hope I pronounced his name. LeBaron Philon. I think he was committed to Kansas.
I think the draft class or the class coming in, Rod, is really good. So
yeah.
Aren't you the one told me that up to like number 2? It seems like maybe one more big man. It could be used somewhere in here.
We have the guy Cliff Omaruri. I don't know if I pronounced the guy from Rutgers. I think he was visiting Tuscaloosa this past weekend.
We don't know anybody's name correctly, huh? We're just like the guy from
Rutgers. We don't. But there were a lot of people on Twitter that were saying like, yeah, he's coming to Alabama. So I want to say he's like 6'11", 240, 250, something like that. That's the big man we need. Again, we don't.
I mean,
we don't need
kids. Yeah, I agree, Kat. Go ahead, Rod. Yeah. I'm sorry. We don't need a big man that's going to come in and do like Zach Edey number 30 and 20 rebound. We just need you to kind of clog up the lane and get the rebounds, get some blocks. If you can get us 10 to 12 points a game, we're fine with that. So hopefully Cliff comes and he can help us out with that. Yeah. And to that point, his third school he committed to, man, it's kids and it's a lot of money involved, and you're just going to see a lot of stuff all over. I can't imagine me at 18 trying to figure this out. I can't imagine me at 18 trying to figure it out and people throwing millions at me too. So it's it is a different world out there.
But how much money
I'm going to be teaching both your kids how to shoot the rock. So
hey, that's fine. How much money do you need as a freshman in college though?
As much as you can get. I mean, think about it. If you didn't have any coming up, right? And all of a sudden somebody's saying, here's $1 million to you. That's like, hey, feed my family, take care of mom and dad, everybody, like that's it. See, Kat said I was a mess at 18. I mean,
I think we all
can't imagine me at 18 and the kind of money that they're talking about. It would be crazy. So got to buy a Lamborghini as a freshman. Yep, wreck it as a sophomore.
I mean, I think I want to say Bijan Robinson when he was at Texas, he had a deal with Lamborghini. Carson Beck at Georgia has a deal with Lamborghini. He bought one of the Lamborghini trucks. So just imagine driving one of those in college. Like that's just crazy.
I heard Randy is the one that actually gave him the Lamborghini to Carson.
Randy has so much money, it's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. I've texted Randy a few times to let me borrow like $5,000 or $6,000. He doesn't respond, but then when I ask for $20, he's like, "Yeah, no problem." So, but anyway, I know Randy's got a lot of money.
Oh, I know. Have you seen his helicopter? Yeah. It's crazy.
Have you seen that freshly shaved bald head Randy had? That is like so crit. Like Mr. Clean looks at Randy, and Mr. Clean's like, "Dude, I can't compete with that."
Yeah, I know. Nobody can though.
I can't figure it out. Yeah,
so in 40s, that can't imagine driving a Lambo. Not me. So, somebody else who's famous. Yeah.
Ricky.
Yes.
Ricky Lorenzo Robinson.
Yes. Raj, you just don't even know. Whenever we have a difficult customer, that we have to deal
Yeah.
with. I put Ricky on the phone, and they're like 20 times nicer to him than they ever were to me. Like,
What
they'll be on
is
there
it?
like,
His tone of voice, or what is it? What is he doing to kind
I
of
have no idea, Rod. People have called him before and wanted to fight him, and then they meet him in person. They're like, "Hey, Ricky, how you doing? Love to see you." So it's
wow.
it's great.
Ricky's a smooth operator, man. Shout out to Ricky. Appreciate you jumping on, man.
Miami was 25-ish, so imagine at 18.
Yeah,
one of y'all
Miami,
would probably. Hey, Ricky
I was in my
said
early
no.
30s. I was in my early 30s when we went to Miami, but that was an epic trip. Love it. I mean, that was epic.
Roger, I got to link you into this one though. Talk to them one time.
That?
Actually, might meet them in Wisconsin. Just a way to keep you actually looking good for once in your life. So maybe you don't have to wear the hat. So you actually all this will actually look good. So
thanks, sir.
No problem. I'm with you, David.
Yeah,
all that. We can tell.
I don't know. I feel like if I had a Lamborghini, I would just drive it like around town, but I would just go places I don't even need to be. I would just drive it like around the Highlands where all the bars are, just for the heck of it, and then just come back home.
Oh, gosh. Just to show out. Yeah. We actually went to a guy's house the other day who's got a nice car, and he's like basically takes it out like once a month just to make sure it's good, and then puts it back up. So, all right, we talked a little basketball before we get kind of into Alabama players in the draft and all. Were you surprised kind of by the lack of movement by the Alabama football team in the transfer portal?
Do you mean as far as players leaving or as grabbing players?
Both. Pick whichever way you want to start.
Not necessarily, because I felt like our team was pretty much set after A-Day. I knew that Coach DeBoer came out and said,
I see thanks her, but I don't know if I missed something or whatever. So
I'm not sure. Coach DeBoer came out and said we needed some offensive linemen.
I'll save your comments for later. Go ahead, Rod. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yep.
Some offensive linemen and some depth at DB. Obviously, we got another DB, Cam Howard from Charlotte. He had like 2 interceptions last year, a number of tackles. But I mean, I'm okay with where we are, so I'm not too surprised. I was more surprised at the fact that we didn't have a lot of players leaving. Obviously, we had Brockermeyer. I think he's going back to TCU, and then the latest one was Peyton Woodyard, and Tony Mitchell. Found out about Tony Mitchell, but I don't know how much playing time those two were going to get. I think there were bigger hopes for Peyton Woodyard. But
Brockermeyer's been taking all the snaps though. While
that was the one I was most nervous about.
You can't compete anymore. I don't get it.
I don't know, because and to your point, Parker Brailsford, he had I don't know if it was off the field issues or some personal issues. Hadn't been taking a lot of snaps. Hadn't been that active this spring. So I didn't know if he was going to transfer back to Washington. I don't know what's going on there. But with Brockermeyer leaving, you can only imagine that Brailsford is going to be the starting center. I mean, unless something happens within the next few hours and he leaves, I mean, I guess he's going to get the starting spot. Yeah.
It's very, very weird. So, and I think one of the comments earlier was like holding their breath until meeting said, "Yep, no commuting for." I think that was a surprise. I don't know either, man.
I don't know.
Mitchell was cap after. Yeah, I don't know. It's
and
it's like you said, guys don't want to fight anymore.
They don't. And then like you take Woodyard for example, you're transferring now, so now you got to go to program. Start with them in May. Keep in mind, they've already got people on the team that are at that position you want to jump in. They were already familiar with the program, familiar with the facilities, familiar with the coaches who've already made their mark. Now you're leaving to go jump in there and just kind of compete with it for the next three months, I guess, to try to compete.
That's if you get apparently this one happened like right before we came on air.
This happened like right before we jumped on tonight. Tony Mitchell is entering the transfer portal. Yeah.
So it just doesn't, like you said, the timing of it is kind of ridiculous. You've waited. Now everyone's had their spring games, and if you don't see a whole lot of other people going in the portal, what position, unless you're trying to get to Colorado, I don't know what positions are even open right now. And like you said, it's with even with what you just said there, that's assuming you get picked up tomorrow. If you don't get picked up for the next month, 2 months, then really what are you doing? You're just kind of in limbo for a while. So I don't know.
Yep.
So.
And maybe somebody did reach out to Peyton Woodyard and said, hey, or whatever the case, but you come here, you'll start right away, and they'll probably give him some money. But what program is that going to be? Are they going to be that good? How many games are they going to win, et cetera? So,
yeah.
Shout out to Big Mike.
The whole thing about this, though, Mike, is if he's here. You know, if I had been competing against him and I've been taking all the snaps up to this point, I feel like I've got a shot. So I don't care where he came from, what he's doing. I've been the guy so far. So I'm going to stay and fight for it. That's what I feel like. Yeah. And that's the thing. The money really just kind of makes you. But to that point right there, if a guy transfers out now and he has a destination already, I'm like, okay, I get you. But if these guys get in there and they're still in there a week, 2 weeks, a month from now, I don't know. You know, I don't know what's going to go. So David Baxter. So yeah, I don't think so either. Especially in like more of these pass happy. And I don't know if this is the point you're trying to make, but with these pass happy offenses, you're going to get in there a lot of times and you're going to see the field. I think people get caught up too much on am I starting or not, and it's just like, are you going to play and are you going to develop? So stop worrying about am I going to be the first guy on the field. I mean, start worrying would you be the last one on there. So if they have I don't know what tampering is anymore. To be honest,
I don't know. I don't know.
There's always back channels to reach out this stuff. So you know, it kind of is what it is. So I would at least hope so. I would hope you wouldn't wait till the last minute to jump in the transfer portal and have nothing going for you. So that would be a ridiculous. So, but after that, I was a little surprised we didn't pick up some more players just depth wise. But I think depth is a luxury that you just really can't. You know, you can't afford anymore. So nobody wants to pay for all the backups. So All right, Raj. You want to talk a little NFL draft?
NFL. Let's do it.
So we were going to do a stint, you know, mostly on the Bama players. But, you know, you kind of got to start. First off, did the draft kind of play out like you thought in that first round and specifically with the Miami?
You're talking about just Miami or just in general?
Both of them. Well, you can start with Miami and then go with in general.
Miami, not necessarily because
I was about to say he better say not necessarily because the text that I got from you guys, you and Mike, was not happy.
Mike and I both wanted, and this is part of it is us being our Bama bias. We wanted Terrion Arnold to come to the Dolphins. Xavier Howard left. We need help in the cornerback position. We need some youth back there. And Terrion Arnold was available for our pick. We had the 21st pick, but he ended up going to Detroit. So we did need to play. We did need help on the edge. We got Chop Robinson from Penn State, but Mike even, you know, sent us a text about his stats last year, and it was just kind of like, he wasn't too exciting. I don't know if Chop Robinson's somebody who's going to start right away or get a significant amount of playing time. I mean, you still got Bradley Chubb and oh my gosh, I forgot his name. Chubb and Big Mike help you out. Chubb and somebody else, I forgot the other guy's name to start anyway. But hopefully Chop develops into somebody who can be a significant force on our team in the next couple of years. So
Ricky
he's not a bad guy. But personally, I just thought I wanted Terrion Arnold. But overall, Miami did assess some of our needs. Jalen Phillips. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mike. We did assess some of our needs.
And you saw this. Ricky likes Chop instead of, and I see some of y'all in there. I see your other comments like Detroit, Chicago. I will add those in when they're time. So don't think I forgot you.
Yeah, I just got to see more from Chop, and again from him being at Penn State, I didn't pay too much attention to this previous season. So like I said, I hope Ricky's right. I hope he's a big pickup, and I hope he can get a lot of playing time and really help us out because. One thing we needed help last year was pressure on the other team's quarterback. I mean, Josh Allen lit us up. Obviously, in the playoff game when it was like negative 1,000 degrees out there, I mean, we couldn't do it in Kansas City.
People had to get.
But I mean, if you look at the games we lost, the other team just put up a lot more points. We just couldn't pressure the quarterback, so we needed help with that.
Yep. So overall, draft kind of ended up okay for you. So general surprise.
Miami, I give Miami like a B-, maybe even a C+, but I'll go with B-. I think we assessed some positions that we needed to assess. We got a good offensive tackle out of Houston. We got Chop. We got a few other guys. We got another receiver. I don't know if we need another receiver because Tyreek's going to take up the first snaps, then Jalen Waddle, then go from there. I'm okay. I gave it a B-. Big Mike, let me know what you gave the Dolphins draft grade. I'm gonna stick with my B-. So I'm okay. As far as in the conference, good question, Ricky. Keep in mind, Josh Allen did lose Stephon Diggs, but they drafted Keon Coleman, who looks like a really, really animated kid. I've been watching some of his draft conferences or his press conferences.
He's going to be known more for his press conferences than his play on the field.
Yeah. So in the division, I do think we can win the division next year. And I get it. Josh Allen will be there. A healthy Aaron Rodgers can really, really help out that Jets team. Excuse me, but I'm still going to go with my Dolphins. We're going to win the conference next year. I mean, we're going to win the division next year and hopefully make it to get some home field advantage in the playoffs and win a few playoff games and hopefully make it to the conference championship and, of course, the Super Bowl.
Be months, yep.
Yeah.
Keon Coleman's high school printer, yeah.
Oh, cool. I think Keon Coleman is from Louisiana. I think this is Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, and you could tell Coleman's from Louisiana based on his accent. He had a strong Louisiana accent, but he looked like a really cool kid, good receiver out of Florida State. So shout out to Keon Coleman. Hope you're listening now. Anyway,
it is that he got to put JT because I was like, who is Joshua Tucker? So this tells you something about nicknames. I done seen this man for weeks, watched his shows, had no idea what the J and the T stood for. So
I didn't even know. I didn't know.
Yeah, we tuned into they're on the Bama Standard, tuned into their show on Saturday night. They have Funny Man on there.
We turned into that one, yes.
JB. Yep. So man, sorry, we gotta be honest around here. So hey man, but you never ain't nobody ever tell me. I'm introduced as JT.
Hey man.
So I didn't
shout out to JT, man. We appreciate you jumping on, man.
So I can maybe answer this one. Tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Yeah, Chris, it's Wednesday at 6 p.m. I believe. On
and then the first Thursday of every month, it's Thursday, I think, at 6 p.m. Boom, I'm on it. And that's when he's joined by some other some TikTok Georgia Bulldogs. So
and I want to say one thing, man. Herb and I really appreciate the support from everybody, man. And it's good to see you chiming in and plug yourself. Go ahead and plug yourself so we can all jump into everybody else's podcast and continue to support each other and just watch everybody grow as a big old unit. So it's cool. We appreciate the support and we definitely want to give it back.
Have a good night, Chris. And yes, Raj, I echo that, man. I appreciate that too. And JT, you got hit us up anytime, man. We good with you,
man. Yeah, definitely.
Always good. And what Raj also said is obviously we'll get on people's shows and do whatever, but we're also there just to support other people's shows. So if it means logging in and making comments, we're there for you too as well. So let's get back into some of the comments that we missed, I guess, with the David's big on the Bears. I don't know if I'm ready for the Super Bowl, but they have really improved their offense with the draft.
Yes, they got they got Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze from Washington. So they got their starting duo right there. I think the big question, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but the big question for me is, and I said this for years, is are they going to be able to protect Caleb Williams more than they were able to protect Justin Fields? I think that's the big question. If you see Caleb back there scrambling and getting sacked all the time, they're going to be back at square one.
Right. But I will say they've given Caleb Williams way more support than they ever gave Justin Fields.
Oh yeah.
So it's like they basically told Justin, "Look, we just didn't like you. Sorry."
Yeah.
Yes, I thought that was a good pickup. I don't know about the spot just because I don't know about the offense. Well, I guess we were going to kind of run over that in the middle, but yeah, I know Cat was happy when they got Kool-Aid. And his fall, did you think he fell more because of like the injury and maybe how the season went, or because there was a run on offensive players?
Who's that? Kool-Aid?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that was for him and Terrion. I think they both fell a little bit. And shout out to JB. I'm not sure if JB's listening, but JB did mention that both of them skipped the Senior Bowl, which might have dropped their draft stock a little bit. I don't know if that plays into it or not, but I don't know. I'm happy that you both got drafted. I'm happy with Kool-Aid going to New Orleans. I think they got a really, really good pick in him. I think he could start immediately for that squad. And the same with Terrion. Hey, shout out to Terrion Arnold. Now he's paired with guess who? Brian Branch in Detroit. I mean, we already know about Detroit's offense is loaded. That defense is going to be loaded. They are primed to make it to the Super Bowl next year. And I already picked them to make it to the Super Bowl next year. And I did. It was on the show. Yeah. So whenever we discuss that, we'll go into further detail. But shout out to both Terrion and Kool-Aid.
Yep. And there's
speaking of Kool-Aid, are you going to get Kool-Aid,
by the way?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll be texting
you
after this, Randy. I'm interested to see what's going on. I hope everything goes all right. I'll say that. So go ahead, Raj. I'm sorry.
Speaking of Kool-Aid, Kool-Aid has a limited edition flavor coming out called Black Cherry Blitz. I promise you. I have not drunk Kool-Aid in a long time, but I will buy some packs of Black Cherry Blitz.
Yeah, but is the Kool-Aid packet still like 10 cents?
Nah, inflation, man, inflation. They're no longer 10 cents. I remember when they were 10 cents and you could just go in there and grab a handful of them, man, and just call it a day. And of course, you got to mix the flavors up. But I'm going to buy a few. I don't even know if I'm going to make the Kool-Aid, to be honest with you, but I'll buy a few just to support Kool-Aid.
There you go. I'm with you on that one. You missed this one, Raj. I don't think, or I missed it, I should say, because there was a good little conversation about the chop pick. And why Raj wanted someone back there. The counterpoint to it was down here. Stout defense line making meteor. So so I understand both points, but I could see why you guys would have wanted, the DB more, of course. So
I mean, we needed help in the edge and the DB, so it's kind of like pick your poison, whatever the case may be. But
Football Talk with Bo would agree with you, by the way.
What, the coaching?
Yeah. But Chicago has put together. So, your favorite draft to what NFL team, man? So,
is Chris mentioning like what's our favorite pick?
No, I think like what. Oh, I guess I'm not sure which one he means. So, if you're talking about Alabama guys, we're about to go through that. If you're talking about just in general, like if I'm sticking with Alabama, and I think it was already mentioned, I like Terrion to Detroit because I kind of
root
for Detroit. I think defense is something they need to improve on, and they probably got one of the more likable players that they've had in a long time. And then they doubled down on corner, I think, with their next pick as well. So you could tell that there was a huge like, hey, we need to address what's going on there. So I know grade wise, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. My bad.
No, I think like grade wise, people grades, people like Pittsburgh high as far as their draft, but I don't really care because they were drafting like centers and linemen, so I don't really pay as much attention. So I like the Terrion Arnold, and I think he fell to a great spot. So that's one of my favorites.
I think Tampa Bay got a steal in Chris Braswell. I know Chris Braswell was basically the number 2 as far as the linebacking core because he was right behind Dallas Turner, but I think Tampa Bay I think he could start immediately for Tampa Bay. I think they got to steal with him in round 2. One big question mark that I did have was, and maybe Herb and I both had, was Jermaine Burton. We're never questioning his talents as a receiver, but it's his off the field and it's his behavior.
We'll get into it when we go through his name real quick. Just 1 second. So let me grab these real quick, and then because that's an excellent point. Now I've got it in my notes, so we'll get caught up real quick. I think he'll get him through one more season. I wonder, kind of, is Hendon Hooker their next one? Is he recovered? Is he made any kind of progress? Because I don't believe they addressed what quarterback. So, or are they just hoping Goff gets them through another season? But I think one more season, and I think they'd be wanting to think about a succession.
You got to. If Goff can't take them to the Super Bowl next year with all this talent they have on this team, they might have to start looking around and shopping.
Yeah, gonna have to. That was about the
Kool-Aid. It's called Black Cherry Blitz. And Ricky looked it up. They are Kool-Aid packs of 28 cents.
Yeah. He did say yes, Bama player. So yeah, we did have that right. I like Terrion Arnold where he ended up first.
I like Terrion. Yeah, Terrion's probably my favorite one. I'm definitely gonna watch some Vikings games just to see what Dallas Turner could do there. And as I mentioned earlier, Tampa Bay got stealing Chris Braswell. Some of the other guys, I know Jason McClellan got drafted to the Falcons. He'll probably be behind Bijan, so I don't know how much playing time he'll get. It'll be interesting. I know Jalen Key was Mr. Irrelevant. Do you think he ends up making the team? How do you think this pans out for him?
So when I was just reading about a little bit more in depth with him, they gave him a C+ as far as the grade. So he's not like a superstar. So it feels like he's going to make. Well, obviously not a superstar getting drafted last. Feels like if he makes it, it's going to be more special teams than starting, and it depends on his rotation. I'd have to look more at the team to kind of talk that. So let's kind of go through that since people are kind of throwing out names. Let's get through the Alabama players real quick. J.C. Latham to Tennessee first. They wanted Joe Alt. They were mocked for Joe Alt until the Chargers came, so they pivoted to Latham. I think they want him to switch sides though, which I think is the only thing that would slow him down, because I want to believe what he's going from right to left, which to me is a huge change. So he went to a team that needed his position. That's good.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Will Levis needs some help.
Yeah. So same thoughts on that one?
No, I mean, same thoughts. I mean, they need to protect Will Levis, especially if he's going to be their future. I was fine with that pick. I think the majority of the teams in the draft really wanted Joe Alt, regardless of need. But obviously, he went like number 5, so he was gone fast.
It was never going to happen. Yep. All right, what you got next? Dallas Turner to Minnesota. Dallas Turner was mocked for Atlanta for like every mock that you saw. And they needed defensive help. And we're going to talk more about this next week. But I will say this. I listened to a Atlanta Falcons podcast. They're not happy about the Michael Penix thing at all.
Again, we'll go into it next week. But I think initial reaction from everybody was nothing but utter surprise by them picking Penix at number 8. So I didn't see that come. I didn't expect that.
I think all defensive players dropped, Dave. I don't think it was anyone in particular. And it was, like I said, we'll go a little bit more into that next week, but that was just kind of crazy. So then the one we talked about, I already talked about it, Rosh. I'll give you a second, I guess, more, since I've already been at length, but Terrion Arnold to Detroit. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, him and Brian Branch are going to do some damage. They're both young. Branch is going to be in his second year. Terrion Arnold's first year.
Have a good night,
Detroit's
Chris.
loaded.
Man.
Chris, we appreciate you for jumping on, man. Have a good night.
I like that.
I think this is a huge pickup by Detroit. And once Detroit saw him fall to them, they were like, dude, we have to get this guy.
Yep. Kool-Aid to the Saints was our next one.
I didn't think he would fall. Yeah, I didn't think he would fall to 41. Again, we just mentioned that, but I mean, huge pickup for the Saints. Again, I think he can start immediately as long as he has no off the field issues and everything is kosher. He'll be fine.
Yep. And you said you like this one, Raj. Braswell to Tampa Bay was your next one.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if I'm going by CBS Sports grades, they gave that one an A+ to kind of go along with what you were saying.
He was a steal. Chris Braswell was a good kid in college. Definitely, I like that. I really, really like that pick. And Tampa Bay got really, really lucky with Braswell.
Yeah, Detroit definitely my backup team. I would like. Yep. I still have some more questions next week for your Saints, Cat, but I do like.
I definitely watched a few more Lions games this past year than I previously had, and I wanted them to beat San Francisco in the conference championship game. They came up a little short, but I have a feeling they're going to get over the hump next year.
Yeah, and he said Lattimore, I guess, might stay too. So
yeah,
they're just kind of in a flux to me. You know, is Carr the guy? Are they trying to move forward? That division is so weird that it's always winnable by almost any of the teams. So it's like, get your stuff together, unless you're Carolina.
New Orleans just underperformed last year, and it was tough to see that. So,
I'll be on next week's episode live. Oh wow, I don't know if you and Raj
David
today.
I can tolerate it. David's cool. I'll give him a pass. It's entertaining.
But this was an interesting draft, and a lot of players, I guess, went to some good spots for him. And I think she was talking about maybe the Texans because they drafted another Ohio State player. So, hey, I say come join on. And see, like Key and Will Rashard. Will Rashard we'll get to in a minute.
Speaking of the Texans, man, hope everything's all right with Tank Dell. Did you hear about that situation?
Yeah. The only reason why we didn't talk as much about it, I think, was because he was released from the hospital already. So it's like a scary situation, but I'm glad he was in and out the same day. So, man, it's just I just don't know what people think. And I don't know why like guns had to be the first option. I don't understand.
I don't know what the option, and I don't even know what transpired. But again, and you know, I hope he's fine. Hope he has a speedy recovery. You also got to be mindful of who's around you and where you're going when you're a big name like that too. You just can't. There's certain things, unfortunately, you can't do like you used to. And again, I don't know if it was a club, if it was a party, whatever the case may be. Just be mindful of. Ricky wanted to know what happened. So Tank was at a club in Florida. Tank Dell was at a club in Florida last weekend, and it said a 16-year-old kid pulled out a gun and shot him. I don't know.
I thought he hit like a bunch of people though, right? No life threatening injuries, but a lot of
no life threatening injuries. Nobody died, but it's just unfortunate that happened.
In his instance, he was in and out of the hospital same day. So
Yeah.
I saw those from Mike earlier. I just couldn't pronounce any of this stuff, so I was like, I was just gonna leave that one alone. So yeah, like a bunch of people were hit. Like I said, Tank was in and out of the hospital, so I'm glad to see that he was okay quickly. So, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much all you can say to that one.
It's unfortunate.
I think I caught most of everybody else's comments. If I missed one, I do apologize. Did see that one too. I think I missed. Yeah, Casey with Worthy. That's going to be interesting. I don't know why Buffalo traded when they need a wide receiver and they let somebody else take a wide receiver. So I don't, especially your arch nemesis. I mean, Batman and Joker don't trade stuff, so I don't understand. So I was actually listening to a pod. Sorry, man.
Don't tell me you were listening to a Batman podcast. Don't tell me that.
I mean, if they had one, I would. But I think they were talking about how many championships they thought the Bills would have or Josh Allen would have if Kansas City went in the picture. It was like at least one or two. I was like, maybe not.
I'd say at least two.
But yes,
I'd say at least two.
They definitely handed. That was just dumb to me. So I hope so, man. I think they're trying to give Bryce a little help out there.
They got to. They need to get it because if he has another rough season, they're going to be shopping for another quarterback.
And I can always count on Randy.
Of course, we all want to see what Batman. Yeah. Hey, Randy, let us know. Actually, Herb and Randy, let us know. I want y'all to. That's the work. The homework for next week. Y'all need to find out if there's any Batman. I'm pretty sure there's like some Marvel or DC podcasts. So
I will find you.
Try to find some Batman podcasts.
Okay. All right. I want to get through real quick, Raj. Get back into this because this next one was one of the more interesting ones to be. Jermaine Burton to Cincinnati.
Again, I mean,
this guy was the Yale getting drafted before.
I was wondering why Mike kept posting it. I was like, why? Why this guy? But wow.
That makes sense. Randy, we're gonna find a good one, Randy. We're gonna find a good one to talk about next week.
Yeah. I think
the reason why this one's interesting to me is because of the T. Higgins situation. Sorry, Raj, I'll let you run with it.
Go. You got it.
And
what I was gonna say.
Yeah, the T. Higgins situation, and nobody denies Burton's talent. Right. They did. Right. I was listening to one of the NFL guys talk about off the field issues is all they heard, and we all knew he was a head case. Anybody watch Alabama knows he's a head case.
Yep.
So none of that surprised me. So that's why I think they are preparing. Can Burton fit in for them? That's what's interesting to me.
He can, but I think that a lot of the guys that are going to face up for him, as far as his opponents and the DBs, if they watch any film or if they know anything about him, they're going to poke at him. They're going to poke at him and they're going to rattle his head. If he's not 100% mentally focused, they're going to mess with him and they're going to throw him off his game and he's going to get pulled. So the talent's there, like Herb mentioned, the talent's there, and he could be a good help for Cincinnati. Just keep your head on straight, man. Don't do anything stupid. Don't let anybody bother you. Just focus on the game.
Yep. Be interesting to see if he can actually do that. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I think he'll get lost in. I could see it. There's too much talent out there too. And that's it. They're actually calling him injury prone. Burrow. So,
who, Burton?
Yeah, Burrow.
Burrow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm always going to mess up the name. Justin Abugabili to the Chargers.
Big B.
Yeah.
I think he good pick, but I think he had like a neck injury, I believe.
My neck, my back, my ankle. Okay, go ahead. In 5 years, we'll be talking about what happened to Burton.
If Big B can stay healthy over the next few years. Who's that?
He said in 5 years we'll be saying. It just wouldn't surprise me because of his attitude. You know, he was out there and got us a penalty because he was chirping in Mississippi State, and I was like, "It's Mississippi State.
Like, why are you chirping in Mississippi State?" Yeah,
you know. So really,
yeah. So Big B had a neck injury, so he's just got to stay healthy, man. I think he could be a great help with the Chargers.
Yep. Jace went to the Falcons.
I guess the Falcons are trying to create a nice little 1-2 punch. I like Jace.
Yeah, but don't they still have Patterson too, though?
They have PJ Robinson, Bijan Robinson. I think they do have Cordell Patterson. So, again, I mean, he was a 6th-round pick. So, hopefully, he does enough to stay on the team. I think he can help him out.
Yeah.
And then, of course, our boy.
Backs, man. He fell more because being a running back than anything else.
Yeah, exactly. I honestly thought the Cowboys were going to try to pick him up, but the Cowboys were doing more work trying to beef up their offensive line.
That would have been too smart for them. But they're signing back Zeke. So I was like,
Zeke, okay. Yeah, they signed him to like a 1-year, $3 million deal or something like that. So
Yeah.
That's weird.
So,
imagine coming back into that locker room.
Raj, they have Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Avery Williams, and then
I forgot about Algier. Oh yeah, Jason's gonna have. Oh wow. Because Algier had a pretty good season too. So, wow.
Yep.
Okay.
And Cordell Patterson, I don't see him on their depth chart. Oh no, he went to Pittsburgh. That's why Patterson went to Pittsburgh. Okay. So missed that one. So yep. And there you go, Big Mike. Of course, he's gonna find it before I do. That's what Big
Mike knows everything, man.
Cat said, man. Oh, and then Will Richard to Minnesota. They gave it a C plus. What'd I say? Will Richard? Will Reichard. Sorry, Will Reichard. I'm trying to hurry up and get through my notes before we got to get off here. To Minnesota. Yeah. They gave it a C plus. I was like, you idiots. So, great pickup, great kicker. That's it.
Yeah.
So, and we'll talk about Pittsburgh a little bit more next week too. So, Big Chris knows all.
Big Chris?
Yeah.
Big Mike, Big Chris.
Pittsburgh's trying to put it together a little something. That division's getting better, so they're going to have to. And then, like we already talked about, Key to the Jets. So, and then Davenport signed an undrafted free agent deal with Baltimore. That's your Alabama in the drafts.
Nick Saban
way more interested.
Draft class.
Yeah, I was way more interested in this draft than I ever have been. So it was crazy.
I was too. I really wanted to see how the quarterbacks were gonna rattle out. So that was interesting to see. But I paid attention to the whole. Of course, the first round and then midway through the second. Then I kind of tuned out, and started watching some other stuff. So.
And that's about how it should be. All right, next week, like we said, we'll have two guests on, Bo and Sarah, to talk about more NFL. So if you want to tune in for that. All right, Raj, bring it on.
All right, man. So tonight, I only got 2 questions.
Okay.
That's all you need.
That's good because we don't have that much time.
Exactly. Number 1. All right. So obviously we just touched on this. The Cowboys need a running back, even though they signed Zeke. I thought they were going to draft one eventually in the draft. They didn't. If you were Jerry Jones, or I was going to say in the war room with the Cowboys, but let's just say if you were Jerry Jones, which former SEC running back would you have taken? Not Alabama, just SEC running back. What you have taken?
I could take any of them.
Yep.
Well, first off, I would draft. So what's the question? I have to pick one that I would have wanted to draft when they were.
Yeah, you can go back to Sean Alexander. You can go back to Darren McFadden, whoever. Who would you have taken? Former SEC running back. Derrick Henry? Okay.
Derrick Henry. I think
prime
size, speed, and power from Henry. Right. That was the basis. That was the basis for it.
Was the basis of the question. It was like, which running back do you think would fit well with them? Because they don't need – I don't know if the Cowboys need a running back who's going to give them like over 1,000 rushing yards because they're going to pass the ball a lot too. But Derrick Henry, I do like the answer though.
Yeah, this is a funny question over there. I'm gonna read that in a minute, but 2 people have already taken my answer.
Okay. Great.
Or you want me to take that question first?
Yeah, let's do it. We got time. What's the question? Which number 1 pick this month has more impact? Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark, easy. Yeah. So the fact that you're asking that question shows the Caitlin Clark effect, because you wouldn't be talking about that if it weren't for effect. You're going to talk about Caitlin Williams because NFL is football anyway. But Caitlin Clark's, the fact that you're even saying that, and then the next 3 people all said Clark, I agree 1,000%. Definitely.
And they said her jersey sold out on Fanatics within 1 hour. Season tickets are sold out.
Her impact. And they have like 30 something out of the 40 games. I think only like 4 of their games aren't televised. So what'd you say, Sydney? And you're what?
And we were actually joking around. I was like, listen, if Caitlin Clark came here to Dallas to play the Wings or whatever, would you go? And we both say, yeah, we'd go to a game and check it out. That would be pretty cool.
If we were in town at the same time that happened, I would absolutely go to a game. Caitlin Clark, I've told you this. My problems are going to be with the WNBA, not with Caitlin Clark. They need to support her and they need to ride this wave, and that's what
they got to market her. Yeah.
All right, what's your last question?
Last question. Work, play,
36 live. Out of 40. That's the number I was looking
for. This is Work, Play, Live, the Lost Quarterback Edition.
Oh, God.
All right, so Work, Play, Live. Spencer Rattler, Joe Milton, and Jordan Travis.
I'll probably work with Joe Milton because he doesn't look like first off, he's Tennessee. So I don't want to have to I just will go to work and hate working with him, but I don't want to have to see him any other time. I guess Spencer Rattler can be the next door neighbor because Jordan Travis was in Florida, and I feel like maybe he can, we'll head over to like Miami or something, and we'll go out and we'll have a good time. So Spencer Rattler gets the next door neighbor by default, but I don't really know much about his personality. But I think I'm gonna go hang out with Jordan Travis. I'll tell him to wear the cast too. I'll tell you're gonna pull in all the ladies with that cast.
Oh yeah, so. All the girls. Yes, yes.
Well, I forgot the Saints end up with Spencer Rattler. That fall was.
I did too.
I didn't see that. So got a party with Rattler. Yeah, I'm going with Travis on this one, but it was gonna be between those two for sure. All right, and that was it. So the last one on here, Saban calling games with Herb Studio Top. He is having the time of his life now that he doesn't have to coach anymore. He's like,
you can tell how relaxed he is, the things he's talking about. He's smiling a lot. He's so chill. I cannot wait to see him this fall too. So that's gonna be awesome.
Oh, Sixers pulled it out in overtime tonight, Rod.
I saw it. Maxey had either 46 or 48 points. So
yeah, I looked up at one point. He was scoring all their points. So all right, thank y'all for watching tonight, man. Rod said it earlier. We appreciate the interaction.
Yes.
We appreciate the questions. That's why I try to get to every comment, because you guys make the show and we appreciate it. So I'd rather have a whole show with comments versus any of the material that we even put together. So appreciate you.
I agree.
Next week is
appreciate everybody.
Oh, yeah. Raj, I appreciate you, man. You're the greatest brother.
I appreciate you, Herb. I love you, man.
And what's your last three? So
I just said I love you and you didn't say anything back.
Because I said it first.
I mean, yeah, whatever. Yeah. I will say this, Mike. I am gonna watch that Minnesota Denver series. I think that might be an interesting little series. Ant Edwards is playing like that guy right now. I will probably pay attention to that series, but the other ones, honestly, I really probably don't care for anything until the finals.
We're not ending on James's comment. James, I love you, bro, but we're not.
Your comment. James, we love you, but we're not saying that gibberish.
Yep. All right, everybody, y'all have a great night. Love you all. And as soon as I find our exit music, roll Tide, everyone.
Roll Tide.